I have two different accounts, and I'm apparently streaming on this one. I'm live now. Hello, people, if there's anybody here. Okay, so essentially there's a paranormal talk group that's on paranormal activity. It's on Facebook. And like a lot of people who are interested in paranormal phenomenon or curious about it, somebody goes, question of the day. Why do you personally want the paranormal to be real? And everybody was like, well, I would just like to know, more about it. My response is obviously off the wall as opposed to most people. I'm getting my ghost app started, by the way. And I said, actually, I just really want it to not be real and I want it to go away. Hence me learning how to do exorcisms and banishing them and going out and hunting down stage so I can make my own smudge sticks to make them go away. Because it's very aggravating. It's interesting and entertaining, sure, for a moment, until you realize the influences they have on you and how negative it is, and how actually quite a lot of them actually do mean malicious intent or have no they're not hearts. They have intentions. In fact, that Kendra Jenkins girl that died in Chicago, or was her body was in the freezer. The dead have come forward and taken responsibility, not only acknowledging that to me, but one of my other friends who's clairvoyant and psychic as well, who lives in the United Kingdom, referencing that the voices told her to the freezer. It's the same thing with like the Elisa Lam thing. Depending on who's around, and I do have something that claims to be demonic that's the bottom floor of this house that I've been trying to figure out how to fucking exercise for a long ass time. So anyway, my app is on. The EMF is at 40, and now it's at 59. So they move pretty fast and it fluctuates a lot. I primarily do a tarot spread, not because I actually think it's going to predict what they're going to talk about, but it gives me some sort of baseline to actually determine what they will bring up, because they like to just do bad with me a lot. So luxury, the defeat of luxury essentially is going to be part of the topic. Have some sort of success with the defeat of luxuries that will cause disappointments with pleasure. Likely to do with environmental things. So they're going to emphasize on some catastrophic environmental weather, if they'd like to even come forward. Excuse me, you keep bumping it up from like 49 to 59 to 60. Don't insult me. Don't make me get the smudge stick. That's it. I'll light a smudge stick. I have a love-hate relationship with these guys. I'm going to leave it right here. You see a light start flashing right there? It means you decided to come forward. You can get a smudge stick. Where did I put my lighters, guys? Hold on a second. Hello, I'm going to light it. It was hilarious. You're going to be gone here in a second if you don't knock it off. I think it's funny. I know I'm impatient. It's only been 2 minutes. But they're usually pretty on point with this. You know, you guys have been waking me up constantly throughout this past week, not just me, but other people as well have been having sleep issues, specifically because you guys currently have something in dire need to talk about this time frame. And yeah, there we go. And look at that. I'm actually awake to talk to your ass, and you're taking your sweet ass time. Hello, would you like to introduce yourself and tell me why I should... Reality. What about reality? What would you know about reality? That's actually a pretty funny subject coming from you. So, for people who aren't familiar with any of my lives, when the light is on, this app emphasizes that means that there is an entity present. The EMF is a constant 60, and apparently this person's not going to give me text. They can give me subtitles, but reality apparently seems to be the topic. Inspire. Could you please calibrate the phone, make it a little easier, essentially, for me to just say what you're saying? Reality is inspiring what? Are you talking about the volatile chaos or the overall instability being a disappointment and destabilizing people's creature comforts, that sort of thing, as the cards were insinuating? This is one of the most boring discussions I've had with you guys in a while. Discount. Reality, inspire, discount. Okay. So, discount with what? Hello? I'm sorry, I'm just really fucking impatient today. In general. Even. Discount, even. Okay. Discount, even. Reality. Are you talking about what I was actually kind of formulating earlier about how they're essentially with the recent solar eclipse that happened, that it being in Virgo and Leo, it actually... Listener. Okay. How there's some sort of portal or doorway that's been opened for a bunch of you to start flooding in and essentially causing spirit attachment and spirit attachment symptoms to people. Is that going to be an ongoing progressive thing? Would you like to talk about the girl that you guys locked in the freezer in Chicago? Want to elaborate on that? Explain what the fuck that was about? Why the actual astrological charts for Elisa Lam shaking. Okay. Anyway, how about you address what I was asking? Why is the astrological signatures the same for Elisa Lam's security footage and that Kendra Jenkins girl? Why is it emphasized that there are planets that are really associated with you guys intentionally influencing addition? Yeah, intentionally influencing them mentally to do what they did, to lock herself in that water tower, and to the other girl to lock herself in that freezer. Why would anybody do that? Why would you guys do that? Why was that funny? Was that something evil, demonic? Spill. What's up, guys? Sensitivity. So because those particular people were sensitive to you guys felt it was appropriate to prey on them. Is that what you're insinuating? Hi, Amber and Rena and Jim. Sensitivity signal. Okay. I wish you could, calibrate the phone so I can get text on this. Did I even start recording this? Yeah, I did. Okay. So for the record, this is the humor. You're funny. So anyway, I don't know which one of you guys are from the Real Paranormal group on Facebook, but yeah, I'm Ray, and they don't seem to be having anything more or less that entertaining to discuss tonight, which is fucking hilarious because you guys, apparently this is your favorite primetime hour right now. It is the sun hour right now. My spiritual thing is pretty high, so essentially the sun hour here. Venus hour might theoretically give us more activity. But sorry, I was looking at my Facebook page thing here. So anyway, I guess if they don't want to necessarily talk or anything like that, does anybody have, I guess, any questions? Primarily, I guess about my experiences, or I can share links or whatever with some of my other documented footage. Yeah, in general, I mean, because they're usually a little bit more lively than this. The EMF is at a constant 60, which insinuates that they're just being creepers right now and just loiter around the room, actually. Let's see, slow-mo video. What's up, guys? Hello. So these guys actually move really freaking fast. It's amazing how fast they move. It would make sense why you don't actually see them because they're faster than the speed of light. I think that's emphasized with that. Let's see if we actually got somebody here while I was doing that. No. You guys are fucking boring tonight. Absolutely fucking boring. For this being supposedly the ancient pagan holiday of Osiris and the rise of the dead, you guys are not with it. The EMF just spiked from 47 to 60. Hello? Hi. Smudge stick again? I smudge some more? I love how when I threaten to smudge, it goes up. It's solid 60. Solid 60 EMF. But then it's periodically going on and stuff. So I'll put the smudge stick away. How about you lower the EMF? Or just totally, yeah. I gather cooperation is not your guys' strong suit today. How's it going, dude? Who are you? What do you want? What do you want to talk about? Please make it interesting. Hello? Obviously, you're right in my face. Let's not play stupid here, okay? Sand. Okay. What about the sand? Perhaps you're referencing what the cards were insinuating something about some natural disasters? Landslides, maybe? It just has to be me being impatient today. Because I really feel like you guys are taking forever. Oh god. Anyway, instruct what? Oh, you're talking about my frankincense amulet. That I'm allowed to use this to instruct you. You guys? Um, sure. Yeah. How about you tell me what the fuck I want to know then? If that's essentially what that's supposed to do. I know essentially that can do that. Okay. I essentially wear this to keep you guys um the fuck off. I understand that you guys are always here, and I understand that you guys never fucking go away because you're just a magnet to me. But I at least want some damn personal space. I know you get into my fucking head all the time, like you do with many people. Ooh, now you're gonna mumble so I can't understand you. But yeah, I have this thing on which you guys don't like, and I have the frankincense actual herbs in the vial to keep you guys the fuck back because you don't understand personal space. I understand you guys don't have bodies or anything like that, but that is no excuse for you guys getting up all of my shit like creepers. Got me? Dude, you got me. I'm sure you guys don't understand any concept of space like that. Ooh, calibrated. So you're not gonna mumble anymore. What would you like to tell me? It must be something love. It must be something important. You like violating my space is love? I don't think so. I think you and I have a very distinct definition difference with love. I do not insinuate that with love. You guys actually trigger anxiety and depression with some people, and sometimes even influence them. Sneak, yeah. Sometimes influence them to want to even kill themselves or hurt other people. Yeah, I know you're sneaking alone all the time. Yeah. You love to sneak alone. Yeah. Well, funny fucking thing is, dude, is I know when you're here. So, joke's on you. Why do you think I'm practicing exorcism rituals? Why do you think I have smudge sticks everywhere? And trust me, I'm pretty sure in about a week or two, there's a holy day coming up about being able to make any kind of entities get the fuck out, just like my Lithia ritual did. And it's going to be round 2. And the first time was effective, and I actually successfully locked one of you motherfuckers in a box and buried you out in the middle of nowhere. I would love to try to do that again and see if I can be consistent. Are you volunteering? Of course you're not. But anyway, wow, the EMF just went up 10, 15. Oh, I love it when I threaten them. So essentially, some of the ancient texts that I've read, you can, coerce them. Oh, there's another one. You can coerce them or tempt them. They love that. I've done that before at the cemetery. I promised to do some sort of ritual for somebody if they answered my questions. They answered every single question I asked. Every single one. I have the invitation for that. And then some of them respond instantaneously to threats. And only if they actually feel that your threat is valid. Until they realized I didn't know what I was doing, they weren't worried about it. But once they realized once they realized that I locked one of their motherfuckers in a box, then all of a sudden when I started making threats, they come forward instantly. The one downstairs, the second I light a smudge stick anywhere near the bedroom downstairs that he's in all the time, he instantly comes up and starts insinuating that he's going to hurt me. And before I started wearing the Citron quartz, he actually was fucking with my stomach. Because you guys can do that, can't you? You guys can actually fuck with the fluids in people's bodies, more or less. Specifically, like the acid and everything in the gut, and actually make people feel like they have severe stomach pains. You guys have even gloated about that. No. Okay, maybe you're not the kind of dead person that likes to make people's stomach hurt. What kind of dead person are you? Would you like to clear the air? Identify yourself? Searching for what? What are you searching for? If you're searching for your life, it's gone, dude. You're searching for. I'm searching for accusations. No, searching. Your task is not to search for accusations or to emphasize accusations. Well, I am a little bit defensive when, I can't necessarily tell who's who. You guys don't actually identify yourselves as being individual entities. And when one of you decides to be an asshole and verbally, acknowledges that you're being an asshole and then actually physically causes some sort of discomfort to me, turn off. Turn off what? You want me to turn off the live stream? Why? I don't know what's up with you and a couple of other buddies of yours don't like me to actually document talking to you. What's the deal with that? If you guys have something to say to me, why can't everybody else hear it? Is it because I'm making you guys look bad? Or that I'm actually revealing that you guys can actually harm people? And that the influences that you actually have over people are negative? That cause anxiety, depression, mood swings, psychiatric conditions, blood pressure spikes, anxiety. You guys can actually cause illness, immune deficiencies. You can advise it. Right. I try to advise people about things that could be potentially harmful or inhibit their quality of life. And I've found out in recent times. Yes, I found out obviously in recent times, as you've known that fairly well, that I'm starting to learn a lot more about what you guys do, why you guys are here, and what your motives overall. And trust me, I've talked to a lot of you, and you know that. The overall theme that I'm gathering, taken wing. The overall theme that I'm getting is that you guys are specifically intending to use people. Regardless if you actually mean malicious intent or to cause harm, or if you just want to vicariously live through someone, that's irrelevant. Because you all know that you have negative influences, energy-wise, on any of the living. And since you're well aware of that, and you continue to try to attach yourself to people, right, planning to attach yourselves to people. Yes, I'm well aware of that. But since you guys are well aware that you actually cause negative influences on people, and you continue to do what you do, that insinuates that you guys have no problem. You have no problem with actually harming people. Why do you think there's this superstition and fear about shadow people and poltergeists? Your name got my attention. Hi, how's it going? My name is Ray, Chaos Astrologer, Pluto Paranormal, whatever you want to follow me on Facebook. I have a bunch of different pages and stuff. How's it going, Vape God person? And all the other people that have joined in. But yeah, so I'm not going to stop documenting you guys. Excited. Oh, you're talking about Vape God is excited. Well, I would assume so, yeah. And by the way, hi Amber. I have quite a few people actually watching this despite the longs. Okay. Excited longs. But yeah, so sometimes they know that I'm documenting them and sometimes they don't. You have huge interest in paranormal? Well, you've come to the right place, fool, because I have the most, not only continuous documented evidence, but it's way beyond me just actually proving that they're legitimately here. I'm having full-blown conversations with them, obviously. I even have Instagram uploads and even YouTube uploads, and even on my Facebook, too. I have the actual, because you can see the subtitles text. They can choose to actually show, or let me see. They can choose to actually show stuff on this. And this app, yeah, is works well, but it's not that it's a very effective app to talk to them. I'm just a magnet naturally for them. So I was born in Virginia City, Nevada, in the United States, if you're familiar with that town. That's the town that essentially is the huge paranormal boom that the Ghost Adventures crew, like Zach Bagans and all them, they went there and did that documentary and scared the piss out of themselves. I was born in that town, and even my older cousin that temporarily lived with us when I was like 3 or 4 said that she specifically saw a shadow person that would fly out of my room, and that I would periodically talk to something. I've never been a very um, like fanatical, imaginative person, and I never had imaginary friends. But I do specifically remember secretly talking to somebody in that house, specifically with some toys that I had when I was young. And I don't remember any of the context of it. I remember is that apparently he was some sort of priest or something like that, and he kept telling me about suicide. I looked at the history on that house as I was an adult later, looking back at some things, and it was actually the parish house that was property of the St. Mary's Cathedral in Virginia, Nevada, and one of the priests actually killed himself in that house back in the, I think, the 50s or the 60s. So that would have been made sense why I always assumed that he was a priest or some sort of, holy person or whatever. And all I remember is him reiterating something about suicide to me. I'm not entirely sure, thinking back now with the kind of mentality they have, and they actually, some of them like to persuade you to try to kill yourself. Just a quick question. When I had just joined and you were saying about shadow people and poltergeists, is seeing shadow people a bad sign? Absolutely. Seeing shadow people? Okay, so a shadow person is now we're gonna get somebody coming into this, is the really intense drawn manifestation of resentment, rage, anger, hostility, and maliciousness. So the reason why you see the darkness as much as you do, because there are orbs that are all different colors, but when you see something that is a dark manifestation like that, they have an intense energy. They can physically move objects. They can physically affect you. Even the thing that is in the bottom level's house that claims to be demonic, whatever, it's the most difficult thing I've tried to get out of the house. Now we have another visitor. He's not even showing up as a person. Eagle, and he's hurt me. Eagle. So yeah, if you see a shadow person, that means you have spirit attachment. So if you see it multiple times, or if you continue to see it, there's different symptoms of spirit attachment actually. And I actually uploaded the list onto my Pluto Paranormal page. Let me actually go read it off for you. You are experiencing an array of these symptoms, even continuously or regularly, that would re-emphasize that you have spirit attachment. If I would say, just from my own personal experience, if you're physically seeing shadow people and it's not like, you having some sort of sight issues or being up too long or whatever like that, then and you distinctly saw it, then you absolutely have spirit attachment. Let's see, where's the list? Okay. You can go ahead and, acknowledge if you actually experience these or not. Do you suffer from anxiety or panic? So this is the whole list, like the credentials. This goes for anybody who you're experiencing an array of these. This is a likelihood that you may be experiencing spirit attachment. Have you been diagnosed with a psychiatric or mood disorder? Do your moods change quickly for no apparent reason? Are addictive? I know. That's the one I was actually getting to. Thank you very much. It says chronic physical pain that won't go away. Do you know anyone who has committed suicide? Let's see. I was getting into the addictive part. Thank you very much. Do people ever say that you did or said something, but you have no recollection of doing so? Has anyone ever said that you talk in your sleep? Do you suddenly lose attraction for your mate or partner, or it be indecisive about your sexual orientation? Do you hear thoughts in your head that aren't yours? Do you see people or things that others can't? Do you ever feel like you're not alone? Do you, over time, have you developed addictions to food, alcohol, drugs, or behaviors that you didn't have before? Do you have any dramatic changes in attitudes, patience, or beliefs? Have you engaged in self-destructive behavior, such as cutting, upstairs? Okay, yeah. You're just confirming, yeah, that you're here. I got it. Um, let's see. Do you do skin picking, hair pulling, or battering yourself up with other things? Dead. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, yeah, you're here. You're dead. We're upstairs. Thank you for affirmation. Um, can you think back to a time when your habits changed and what happened around that time? Do you suffer from physical, sexual, emotional abuse, or have you been inflicted with it? Have you ever been tortured physically, mentally, or emotionally? Have you ever undergone anesthesia? Apparently, if you're actually under, basically under anesthesia and you have an open wound, these guys can apparently um, go into your body and have some sort of direct internal spirit attachment through open wounds. Would you like to clarify that? Because what about the backyard? Dead in the backyard. Are you talking about the graveyard of cats back there? Yeah, I get it. Thank you for vouching. Have you ever lost a child or had basically a stillbirth or whatever? Have you ever toured or lived near through a battlefield or extreme decimation of human life, like Gettysburg, the war area, or like any kind of concentration camps or Pearl Harbor, or any kind of trauma induced residual energies that would be lingering? Do you live near or spend times in graveyards for any reason? Yeah, you're saying the dead in the backyard are adequate. Okay. Then it says, have you spent time in hospitals, prisons, or home treatment centers? Have you ever used drinks or drugs to the point of blacking out, walking and talking? Human. Adequate human. Are you insinuating that somebody's in my backyard right now? There should not be anybody in my backyard right now. Don't trip me out. Makes me want to go look now. But anyway, Babe God, I hope I answered your question more or less. If you are continually seeing shadow people, or if you're having some sort of poltergeist manifestation, that's actually something that I've predicted is going to be a continuing trend for people. I don't know if it's like be careful what you wish for. We're so interested in this. Primarily, it has something to do with the recent solar eclipse, actually. And there's some other astrological things that'll go over everybody's head here that explain this. But I've actually predicted that there's going to be a huge surge of spirit attachment or paranormal experiences for people. And not only is it going to be like full-blown experiences, but they're going to be traumatizing and abusive to people. People are going to find out really quick that they don't actually want to be your friend. There's a reason why most paranormal and poltergeist activity throws things violently, screams things. Kind of funny because I actually been through quite a bit of that you listed. Yeah, well, the fact that you've asked about shadow people, you're interested in the paranormal, would emphasize that you validation for whatever the fuck you saw. You are thoroughly aware of what shadow people and poltergeists are, meaning that you've looked into that because you're trying to figure out exactly what the hell was going on and why you feel a certain way. And it would mean that you're either a magnet for them, or you're sensitive, or just happen to be the right kind of energy, or if you're consistently only feeling these things in a particular location, that location has residual toxic energy. Like, for example, if you've heard of the Elisa Lam, I guess, accidental death that happened in the Cecily Hotel in Los Angeles, that actual location, as well as the Rosemont Hotel, where that Ken Kendra Chick or whatever Jenkins just recently was found in a freezer. That particular hotel as well. Both have very disgusting, dark residual energy in that area. And even just from a personal experience sample, not even like a mile or two away from here, there's a parking lot that like has an Albertsons and a Taco Bell and everything like that. Within the last 3 years, there's been 2 deaths and bodies just laying flat in the parking lot, both from police shooting them and killing them. And there's continuously all businesses are basically going under in that complex, and there's continuous issues with just everything that could possibly go wrong in that strip mall over there. It's people get food poisoning at the Taco Bell even sometimes. It's really intense. There's a lot of car accidents that actually happen more often than the typical parking lot, just in that area alone. And I always drive by it and I see it all the time. And I'm just like, wow. And I've even turned on my ghost out there in that parking lot, and they've told me, there we go, and they've told me about how it's very depressing and dark in that parking lot. So I don't know if you want to emphasize, do you only feel this in a specific location, or do you feel these or have these influences or symptoms wherever you go? Because that would determine if you're just in the wrong place, the wrong time, or if you're actually a magnet for them. Or I could just ask him. They've actually told me a couple of my friends east. Okay. They've actually jumped on and started telling me what some of my friends are wearing. East free. Okay. So what exactly are we talking about here? East free what? Okay. Enroll. Enroll free East. Enroll free East. Weird. But anyway, it's kind of difficult to answer that because I see it occasionally when I'm other places and feel like maybe it's there. But if you have any moments of doubt where you feel that it's been in more places, or you can't say certain that all of the events that you're recollecting happened in a specific place, then you're likely a magnet. So there are dead people around all the time. Some of them actually don't care to mess with you. Some of them actually don't even want to stay here. Pleasure. Ideally, yes, they do. They do influence you or actually interact with you physically for their own pleasure. Of course, I've talked about that. And yeah, so when I'm in my house, it's a constant occasion, and I'm being watched. Yep, welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. What's hilarious is they actually ratio, yeah. What's hilarious is they actually can't see. You know what's the creepy thing is that if they ever reference anything that is physically, visual, it's actually them getting into your head, processing what you're seeing, and using your mental energy and your cognition to basically use your eyes. This is called ghost radio. It's one you have to actually pay for, and it's cool. Pleasure ratio red recipient. So do you feel like you're being watched when you're laying down, or you're like in your bedroom? Or device. Okay. So I'm guessing they watch you when you're in your room. Would that be accurate? You want do any cool tricks for pleasure and entertainment? And name one of the people's names that's in the live stream right now, or reference something specifically to do with their names. Spare. No, my bedroom is the only place I don't feel anything, but as soon as I leave, that's when it kicks up instantly. Yeah, actually, for years in this house, I've always felt like I'm being chased up the stairs, and my family downstairs actually says it continuously. They'll joke about it, and then they'll say, "Nah, it's not real." But there's a shadow thing that like sits there and stares at them in your bedroom, and that's actually where I've confirmed that there's some sort of thing that claims to be a demon or demonic. I mean, other dead have come forward and actually warned me that it's very, very evil, which definitely sucks out, because I went down there one day and I said, "I'm going to exercise you, and I'm going to cause all kinds of hell, and if there's any way that I can cause any kind of harm or whatever, fuck up your day for a dead person, I'm going to figure it out." And that was actually before I started wearing these. Citra quartz pendants or gemstone raw cut ones are actually that has been shown to interfere with the I don't think that's the right book. Interfere with the actual energy that the shadow people give off, where they can actually infiltrate your aura. So just like we have electromagnetic energy ourselves, and we have like an energy kind of force field that we give off, that's the vibe we have. They have their own vibe too, hence the shadow thing. When they actually start to assimilate or try to basically sit on top of you, be in your space, and they're essentially trying to mesh their negative dark, manifestations of energy with yours. It actually causes some volatile reactions. It's like in a metaphorical sense, it would be similar to like taking matter and antimatter and letting it actually implode onto each other, and it being a violent sort of reaction. The organic reaction that you would have is actually feeling depression, anxiety, physical pain, sometimes in your stomach, aches, and it could stem on to either mental disturbances, emotional disturbances, or they can actually make you feel sick. They actually can make you sick. In fact, when I pissed that thing off downstairs, stay forever. Fuck you, you're gonna stay forever. God damn. No, that's not funny. But anyway, when I actually went down and threatened that thing, I had the bathroom. That's pretty funny. I got pissed. It said it was gonna fuck me up, and then my stomach started hurting instantly. And within the next week, I started wearing this, and I started taking wheatgrass drops, which has like 100 different enzymes and minerals and vitamins in it. So it pretty much makes you nearly invincible from any kind of infectious diseases. My mother, my foster kid downstairs, my brother, his girlfriend, and my boyfriend up here all got pneumonia. All of them. They were all. They all went to the ER, and they all were, diagnosed with paper that they all had pneumonia. I was the only one down below. You're talking about my mom has high cholesterol. Yeah, I got it. I try to help her with that with the wheatgrass, but she doesn't listen. But she's also got spirit attachment for that thing, and that thing would just quit. But I was the only one that didn't get pneumonia. And get this, I have severe asthma, respiratory issues, and I'd actually be the first person that would get pneumonia if anybody actually got it. Yeah. So, do you want to know why I didn't get pneumonia? That you guys couldn't physically contaminate me or give me any sort of, airborne illness, more or less, because I was taking minerals and vitamins, and I was wearing this crystal here. Yeah. Which I find really funny. They actually love to rip this off. Yeah, were you one of the fools that actually tried to choke me and rip this off of me? This is like the fourth one that I've actually had to have on. And then, funny enough, you guys actually ripped this thing off 2 nights in a row last week. I'm sure you remember. Because this is the third fucking necklace I've attached it to. First it was the actual necklace chain. the actual pendant attachment that ripped off in the cellar. Delicate in the cellar. What's delicate in the cellar? Okay. Where are you talking about? No shit. Delicate in the cellar. Faculty human. Oh, you're talking about. Yeah, recently, my brother's girlfriend's mother died, and that was just actually a week or so ago. And I'm sure she's strung up about that. Ah, you're talking about the vent they can hear me. Like I care. This is going on the internet anyway. But anyway, no, my bedroom is the only place I don't feel anything. Well, I have some advice for you. You're more than welcome to add me to Facebook, like my personal Facebook. Hold on, let me get the link. Hold on. I obviously talk about this stuff all the time. Continue to experience it all the time. You can find my Facebook page. That's primarily where I upload all my to or whatever. You can add me to that. Not only do I go out and hunt down my own holy sage and make my own smudges, and I've been having some pretty good success with finding quite a bit of it where I live, and I've been selling it to some of my friends that have been dealing with issues like this. I also do hoard massive collections of these gemstones, like this here, and I do actually make custom jewelry, and I sell these as well. So, I mean, you can always find these kind of things in your local area, but if you're looking for anything to help keep the spirit attachment off of you, help banish them, or help, cleanse the negativity or whatever like that, or potentially alleviate any of the symptoms you've been suffering with that I was labeling off. I'm just going to stop this because I'm done talking to them. It's getting old now. We've been doing this for 45 minutes. That is the official cutoff time there, ghosties. But anyway, yeah, if you ever want some advice, want to talk about it, or if you are trying to figure out exactly, theoretically, some solutions or options to, you know, lessen the severity of some things, or if they start to get aggressive or very malicious and harmful, yeah. And believe me, actually, if you go and look into like the Elisa Lam and the Kendra Jenkins thing, people say that how much can ghosts actually do, or what harm could they possibly do? Well, my mother actually admitted the other night that she felt suffocated, specifically because that thing downstairs has been very aggressive. And when there's been continuous like activity up here where I've felt like I've been woken up in the midst of the night, it's actually yeah, it's turned into it was intense up here, and I was feeling really uneasy about it. So if that means that there was an intent of energy up here, that means that the guy downstairs, who's exceptionally strong, is even more so capable of doing so, which would explain why he was apparently trying to suffocate her in her sleep. She had pneumonia. He essentially gave the entire pneumonia. I mean, we can sit there and say that I don't have for sure proof that that's the case, but I kid you not, I have the actual ER, discharge things. My brother's girlfriend, my brother, my mother, my boyfriend, and then my foster kid downstairs all went into the ER. The kid, I guess, had strep throat or something like that, but the rest of them were diagnosed with pneumonia and actually went home with antibiotics. And yeah, and I'm just like, wow. And so the pneumonia didn't get her. She was on antibiotics. I also gave her some other herbal things, and I gave her a pendant too, so I couldn't attack her anymore. So apparently it's just trying to snuff her instead. So I'm just like, whoa, wow. And any of the physical ailments that anybody else has, said that they felt or dealt with in this house, I have not physically had any similar experiences. And I even go over and have this frankincense violet amulet here. But that's something you have to be careful about. They like to play nice. I think it's like somebody who is a manipulative person. By the way, that's a link to my YouTube channel. Me doing an exorcism that I did in this room a couple months ago with something that actually was insinuating it's my friend, and it was nice. And they love to tell you nice, just like somebody who's a psychic vampire or somebody who's using you wants to continue to be your best friend, but it's because they want you to feel comfortable and not feel defensive and reactive to try to resist them. Because if you're cooperative with them, they can manipulate you easier. So I've gone back and forth, honestly, myself, thinking that there's some that are good and some that are bad. I've had thorough discussions with some of them. They have like a lower EMF and they're very hard to understand. And they don't actually have direct dialogue with me. They just tell me about random associations with things. And I've actually determined that they're giving me key words for future events. Every single time that kind of entity or paranormal thing forward, I look at the date that I had that convo. I wait 2 weeks, look in the headlines or something in my personal life or whatever, or some of my friends, and exactly what they said word for word is exactly what happened. They even referenced direct articles and told me about Hurricane Harvey before it happened. So, which by the way, apparently there's a massive, I guess, toxicity or poison with pork products now hitting all U.S. grocery store shelves, by the way. Probably in about a month or so, people will start to come out and have parasitic sort of worms and stuff in their stomach. And that'll seem like flu-like symptoms that could actually kill certain people. So watch, that's actually going to be a thing that'll start to come out. I'd give it maybe a week or two, maybe 3 weeks tops before people start talking about it and there starts to be news reports about it. But yeah, the ones that actually just come forward and tell me little blips of things that aren't actually directly having, personal dialogue with me, those ones are the only ones that don't really seem to have any intentions of using me physically. If any of them continue to stick around and try to reassure you that they're buddies with you, or especially if they start telling you really, really detailed personal stuff about you, like as if that has to be a fly on the wall watching you for a long period of time to be able to pick up on those things, then that thing is a leech. It's feeding off of you. And that's what they call in mythology and folklore as a succubus or an incubus, more or less, or the shadow people. So it's think back to you, kind of fictitious, poetic sort of metaphors with the devil. The devil didn't come, in horns and in a cape. He comes as everything you ever wished for. So he tries to tempt you and coerce you by being your friend, by tempting you with things that you want, reassuring you that they're nice and that they want to be buddies. Because if they become your friend, even if on some level they actually genuinely want to be your friend, say theoretically somebody dies and they end up for whatever reason lingering, and they stick to you, and they're just doing that for familiarity. Regardless if they realize it or not, they're actually causing negative influences on you with that. So some of them aren't aware of that, but the ones that don't necessarily have a personal association or attachment to someone, they're well aware of the influence they have on people. I have no idea how long they stay in the fifth dimension, purgatory, or basically the seventh level of Earth. So we live in our physical world, and there's obviously a transition between this physical world to the fifth dimension, which is purgatory or darkness or whatever, or the seventh layer of Earth, or the seventh Earth, which is symbolized by hell, more or less. And there's certain things that automatically make you stuck in the fifth dimension or hell. I know for a fact that suicide, the emphasize on that, suicide is the for sure way to damn yourself to the fifth dimension. If you kill yourself out of depression, if you kill yourself out of mental illness, if you kill yourself because the voices lock yourself in a freezer, you're still gonna be stuck in the fifth dimension for however long. And yeah, the evolution process and dissolving process happens over time. So just with what you said about it feeding off you, this could be a reason why any of my can't get out of my depression. That's exactly why you can't get out of your depression. Exactly. One of my really good friends, actually, that's from the UK, who also uses this app, and she's actually blowing up my face right now. She thoroughly has talked to them as well. She's dealt with chronic depression, and once I told her that she needs to smudge her house, actually cleanse the space, and I actually just sent her some gemstones as well. She says that she had an immediate difference with her erratic sleep schedule and her depressive mood, or like sulky, melancholy kind of point of view or attitude, instantly 24-hour difference from when she smudged. It's almost like instantly like disinfectant. It is entirely. If you have really intense activity in your home, if you just smudge your house once, you will feel the substantial difference, night and day difference. Within, I would say, even within hours, at least for sure, if you get one night's sleep, you'll tell a night and day difference. And when you realize that the only thing that smudging does is actually remove any kind of toxic electromagnetic smog energy, aka shadow people manifestations, that's why the EMF works to pick up on them, you will be completely validated and realize that thing that's pretending to be your friend is actually a psychic vampire, more or less, that is sucking the life out of you and the joy out of you, because essentially they're envious, jealous, or resent you for being able to continue to experience life, because they're sitting there in your room or in that space with you. They don't get to see, smell, touch, or anything like that, any of the pleasures like that dead guy was saying on the app. They get to vicariously reminisce about what it was like through your mental thought process, through attaching to you. So even if their only intention is to be nostalgic and remember how it is to live, they're still sucking the life, the physical energy out of you, and that manifests as illness or depression, because you're being depleted of your life force. So again, like I said, even if they're intentionally doing it, or if they don't realize they're doing it, or if they're just doing it because they feel really selfish and self-centered and they really are desperate to feel something like that again, they're still having negative impacts on you. Period. So, But anyway, I'm gonna get going because it's been like an hour. I don't understand something. Could there be reasons why that my bedroom acts like a safe haven? Do you burn incense in your room? Or candles? Or do you have your always illuminated? No. Let me think. Is your room like a blue or purple or yellow color, like primarily the color palette for the room? Or it could even be perhaps if you are a magnet for these things. Essentially, you could be giving off it's all white if that counts. I mean, that's not necessarily bad. Um, red and red and orange are the colors that they're really drawn to, and black, obviously. But essentially, if you do have a really intense aura about yourself, which would explain why you're a magnet for them, you could actually be giving off some sort of subconscious defensive energy, more or less, feeling that you're like mentally, if you feel that like in your room you're protected, or that's like your safe haven, you might actually be causing some sort of mental, essentially, it like shield over your or your etheric energy that would make it difficult for it to come in. And or there is possibility that it actually doesn't mean to cause you harm, and it doesn't want to scare you or hurt you, and it realizes that it's causing you anxiety, and it actually has some respect, and it's not going in your room. I have a really hard time believing that, just because of my continuous experiences overall with most of them. They don't really seem to respect boundaries or anything, and they love the fact that if you don't realize they're there, it's even better, because then they can get away with everything. But there could be a possibility this person's respectful. It could theoretically be a family member or somebody who knew you. Have you had someone who was family or friend or close to you that has died that you were super super like tight with or anything like that? Or has there been a death in that house or something of that nature? Because if it's a spirit attachment of somebody who actually has some sort of emotional attachment to you, there might be some sort of emphasis with respecting your space. So that could be it. But regardless, that thing will still suck the life out of you the second you leave your room. And if the continuing trends will escalate from here on out, it's not just everybody being interested in paranormal phenomenon. Everybody's going to start feeling like they're having some sort of experiences, really fucked up dreams, erratic sleep schedule, anxiety, nervousness, sudden, impulse mood disorder changes, psychiatric, episodes, feeling that they're being coached or coerced with some sort of narrative that's not their own, or just physically freaking seeing things, like full on. I've had, here and there documented photos of actual paranormal phenomenon I've caught before. But all I have to say is, since this April, this not this solar eclipse that happened in August, but the one that happened earlier this year, that eclipse happened, I instantly was having a shit ton of activity. That, to the point where people accuse me of photoshopping some of the things that are on my DSLR camera, and I did not. It doesn't help that I apparently went on the apparently May 9th is the holy night of Lemura, when all of the restless souls of the damned in hell basically resurrect and come back from the fifth dimension to haunt the areas in which they once lived. I apparently, lucky me, was going through Goldfield, Nevada at 3 o'clock in the morning just to go see if I can find ghosts with my friends in the middle of the fucking night. And I didn't know that this was this day. And we're walking through, and I didn't have a video camera or anything, but I have just a DSLR camera I had on my phone. My friend that was freaking out got a couple of photos of me. I actually have something following me that is an exact doppelganger of me, and that was the thing that was threatening me. And then, like, some truck showed up out of nowhere with its lights off and almost ran my friend down off on the road. That is not the first time that I've had somebody act erratic in a car like that when I've been in a cemetery too. And I got all these orbs and shit that just showed up out of freaking nowhere. Like, I'm not even joking. Hold on. Let me go. I actually have the video itself. Let me find it. I'll get the link here. But yeah, I didn't even look back at the photos until after we left and went back to Vegas, because that's where we were at. And when I look back at it, I was so freaking scared. Yeah, I've never ever seen anything like that. And I don't blame people for thinking that it's fake. But I've got the audio along with the entire thing to prove it. And I've even got the original photos on the actual camera. Let's see. Let's see. Where is the share? Sorry, I'm trying to get the. Gosh. Yeah, so anyway, here's the link for this. Anybody who's jumped in recently, I'm sorry, I'm going to get going because this is pretty long. You're more than, sorry, you're more than welcome to follow my Pluto Paranormal page My YouTube channels, Ray Reinhardt's or Chaos Astrology. And if you have any further questions about this, I just continually, like when I feel like it or the dead feel like talking to me, I just come and jump on this whenever. So I also do tarot readings and stuff like that, and astrology readings that I can actually determine for people that are sensitive to paranormal anomalies or whatever. I'll definitely add you Facebook and keep in touch. Keep you updated for sure. I'm constantly on there. I have a social media problem, but yeah, you're more than welcome to add me to any of my social media. If anybody who is experiencing some sort of traumatizing paranormal phenomenon, if you're looking for some sort of remedy, smudge sticks, crystals or whatever, what about sensitives? I can actually do astrology chart readings to determine if people are sensitive to paranormal anomalies. Yeah, I'm sure that's why you're probably here. Most people that are either interested or trying to validate something they're experiencing, usually the first people that jump in a chat about paranormal phenomena. It's not the skeptics; they're usually jumping and being excited about this. And I hate to crash the party and bail, but Daddy Dom, you're more than welcome if you see up in the feed here to add my Pluto Paranormal or add my personal Facebook page. I also have extensive documentation of things I've caught on my Instagram. I continually talk to them on a regular basis because if I don't, they won't leave me alone. And so you're more than welcome to jump on and see what I've got or ask me any further questions or even fill me in on any kind of experiences anybody has, because I am doing research collectively with people to understand the symptoms and behavioral influences of spirit attachment. And specifically, I'm trying to be able to consistently prove and find actual patterns and formulas with people and behaviors and events that can, with beyond reasonable doubt, that people are having actual paranormal spirit attachment or phenomena in general, which that would be a huge breakthrough and help to all the people that are wrongly accused or diagnosed with psychiatric disturbances or disorders that actually are sensitives, not essentially just not being heard or validated or not finding legitimate ways to document actual experiences. So essentially that was kind of how I started doing all this. I wasn't looking for ghosts to hunt. It was more, I've been in denial about feeling experiences throughout my entire life. And as I've gotten older, I've realized that specifically when I had an increasing amount of activity when I was young, and you basically go through, overall cycles throughout your life. So history repeats itself. So right at the age that I'm at right now, I'm going to be experiencing the same kind of manifestation of inner themes as I did when I had really intense paranormal encounters and stuff. So instead of me just being entirely traumatized and nobody believing this time, like I was when I was a child, I'm thoroughly determined to document it and in any way I can and figure out exactly why the hell they do that and what they want, and essentially, hopefully, resolve why they're here and get them to get the hell away from me. Because I like my space. I don't care dead or alive. Get the fuck off me. But so essentially, validation's a thing. Collective, input from other people that are having experiences is great too. And furthermore, my motives overall being I want rid of the things or I want them off of me because I've confirmed and validated that they do have negative toxic effects on people's health and well-being. That I'm determined to look and search for every remedy from ancient ways to modern ways to make the things get off me. I've done one successful exorcism, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have another one here shortly, soon enough. And I'm kind of preparing for that as we speak. But yeah, anybody who, like you, Daddy Dom, if you're sensitive and you feel like you're being overwhelmed or essentially ties by things, it gets overwhelming. I would say like mid-October, and for the next year duration until about August or September of next year, anybody who is a sensitive is gonna feel an intense, overwhelming increase of activity, feeling pressure, discomfort, even potentially becoming physically ill because of the stress. Smudge sticks and different kinds of crystal and cleansing things of spaces, and potentially even kind of walking people step by step through claiming spaces and exorcism sort of banishment things is something that I can help people with. I also have sachets. They're like ancient Babylonian um, remedies to ward off negative energies and et cetera, et cetera. I've thoroughly researched that from Babylonian texts from the British Museum, from the Oxford PDF libraries or whatever, and so actually look back at ancient sources for their traditional methods on how to get rid of things. And since I'm struggling or I'm fighting through getting rid of them myself, every single thing that I look up as a potential remedy, I'm making and trying it, and if it works, then I keep it in my book as something that works. So for sure, anything that I can recommend or sell or create for anybody, if anybody does need help, and I'm not necessarily doing this as some sort of business prospect. It's more or less I I'm not a charity, and I can't continue to um, collect the supplies for these things and then gift them away. I do sell them for just pretty much just cost, and essentially I'm just trying to resolve my own issues, and I have sympathy for people that are struggling with this bullshit as well. White sage and white candles work for me. White candles, theoretically are supposed to be purifying. Definitely the white sage is the number one thing that helps. That's kind of like what I have here. I actually go out into the mountains and hunt down my own sage plants and pull them up and make my own. I have a ton of them on them right there. I do have some other things that are more drastic, and depending on the intensity of the paranormal anomalies, and if they're actual poltergeist manifestations or shadow things, sometimes the sage, the smudge sticks, and the candles are not enough. Like there's one thing that's downstairs that no matter how much I smudge it, if I suffocate the whole house or whatever else, and even try to banish it, it'll be gone for like a day or so, and it comes back with a vengeance, even freaking worse. I'm sure you do rely on your abilities. I'm the same way. I don't necessarily be able to rationalize that I can feel them, but I am very excitable, and my anxiety is really intense. When I start to become really erratic and I'm sweating and and I'm starting to get really, really hot, and I start to get really temperamental, that's when I'm feeling defensive. And specifically during those times, I've actually taken my phone out, and my BlackBerry has this feature where I can do a slow-mo video, and they move so fast. It's actually the slow-mo videos that I've caught them, and I've actually caught right here. There was one that was flying right towards my head, and I caught it on slow-mo because I was like, something that's trying to fuck with me right now. And I just did a slow-mo video around the room, and right by that fridge, there was this thing that just flew up at me really fast. I'm like, wow, so that was like slow-mo. The fact that it was so freaking fast, that's just intense. If that doesn't work, I go back to my books because I'm a Wiccan. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm essentially a Sybil, more or less. I don't really associate any kind of religious things with it, more or less. I'm just really into ancient practices and astrotheology and astrology foremost. And as I've been looking back and referencing ancient methods with the pagans and rituals and all that, I'm just learning that their traditions, their methods, and their rituals are effective and they're working. And so I'm not necessarily a pagan or a Wiccan or a witch of any kind that I would say. Some people say like, well, you do rituals and this and you cast this, and I'm like, yeah, I'm only doing those because I've been looking up at like potential remedies for what's going on, and I tried it and it's working. So I guess I'm a unofficial witch or Wiccan or whatever too. Oracle or Sybil, I think is better. But anyway, I'm gonna get going because I'm tired. Yeah, yeah. Well, essentially, the Orthodox things, the Orthodox traditions, even the ringing of the bell is actually supposed to ward off and cause disorientation with the dead. They've even emphasized how they hate music, and the bells make sense. The stone cathedrals being made out of certain granite and stones. They're actually um, it's not repellent, but they're barriers that are difficult for the entities to get through. And even the stained glass windows, them being certain colors, they actually can't penetrate through those. So every single intricate little detail with some of the Orthodox and ancient cathedrals actually had a purpose. And even when you see like the bishops or whatever swinging those things around, it looks like a pendulum, but it has smoke coming out of it. Those are essentially them smudging the entire church. So the tradition originally from like the Latin church and ancient kind of religious associations before the mainstream kind of Catholic and Christian thing was you were supposed to go to church every Sunday, not because you were supposed to pay homage to God or whatever. It was essentially for you to go to a safe haven. That's why it's supposed to be holy and sanctuary, and go in there where they're continually purifying the space, and that they're doing the blessings, and they're putting the holy water and stuff on you to basically cleanse you of any negative spirit attachment that may be trying to hunt you down. And then ring the bells or whatever, or other religions then just do some sort of very loud vocal singing or noises to get you to go to church or mass or whatever. That's essentially to cause disorientation and confusion with any of the negative spirit attachments that are trying to stalk and follow you to wherever you're going so you can detach yourself. Until you permanently detach yourself from any spirit attachment, the healing process and the disintegration cannot even take place. So until you actually peel the parasite off of you, you can't actually get rid of any of the negative repercussions of said parasite. So, but anyway, I'm going to get going because I'm tired. And yeah, I'll be back. You can add me to Facebook or whatever, YouTube channel. If you have any questions about tarot readings, paranormal stuff, or any astrology readings, interested in that, or any of the novelties and stuff to help with any of the Casper bullshit, feel free to hit me up and we can work something out. Thank you. Goodbye.